And welcome back to the For the Badge podcast. We got some familiar faces now. It's Patrick, it's Lewis, it's my man X. I'm Jake, and we will go ahead and get started. I guess the way we'll format this one, we'll take a look at each of the upcoming games. We'll talk about those two teams' previous games and how they're matching up. First up is old Messi. We'll start with Messi and the Netherlands. What do we think? Do we think Van Gaal's tactics are going to be able to beat Argentina? Did y'all see the article that said that was talking about how Di Maria said Van Gaal was the worst coach he's ever had?
I saw that.
Man United.
Yeah.
I did because he made a joke about Memphis, and he said, "Me and Memphis kiss on the face, on the mouth."
Yeah, exactly.
I wouldn't go that far with Memphis.
No. No. I don't know. I think Argentina finds a way. I don't know. I don't know if there's enough talent on Netherlands to match what Argentina is gonna be throwing at them, and I think that there's this idea that Netherlands is better than they are because we saw them against the U.S. just tear them apart, but that's on the U.S. more than the Netherlands are just that great.
Right.
Yeah, I think it's lack of scoring for U.S. But what do Netherlands do against a team that we know can score?
Yeah.
I must repeat what I said before. I think they're going down that they're going to test blend, and I think goals will be in this game first. I think it'll be a 2-1 or a 3-2 or something like that. But I also think that you'll have an unsung hero in this for Argentina. Even though if it's not Alvarez, it's going to be Martinez. I think it's going to be one of those guys.
Turo going to finally?
I don't know. Lautaro Martinez has been awful. He's
been
not
horrible.
I think he has. I think he has been awful. But I think for this one, I think because it's just being young and seeing that, the shift of attention is going towards Alvarez, who legitimately should have the shift. He was South American Player of the Year. He's clearly like top shelf prospect and player. But I think he'll want to react. I think Di Maria will also be a little motivated. I mean, he's long in the tooth, but I think he'll be motivated as well. But I think Argentina wins. But I do think Argentina concedes goals against the Netherlands.
Is it the same setup? What do you think, X? You think the Dutch will play the same way against Argentina as they did against U.S.?
I don't. I think they're going to come out way more defensive.
Even more defensive?
Yes. I think it's their only way to catch Argentina slipping is to take on the pressure, is to let them come heavy, and then it just you're not catching Gakpo if he's getting a fast break. Like they have the speed, they have the wingers to hit these breaks, and I think if they hit one, maybe two, all they need is first goal. It's going to be classic Mal, Antonio Conte. They get first goal. You're going to see and I'm kind of hoping for this in a sense. Like I'm not knocking on Messi's parade, but I don't want Argentina is not necessarily somebody I want to see in a final either. On the other side of the bracket there, if I'm rooting for France, if England gets knocked out, I'm automatically going to default to France. I have much love for Olivier Giroud. Kylian Mbappe is killing it. I feel like they deserve it from the tournament that they've had, quote unquote. But I do think the Netherlands come out way more defensive in this to try to 1-2 punch, pull that, maybe Japan left a little bit of magic inside one of the stadiums, so that they can just pull on it and just maybe 1-2 punch and just knock them out and get them rattled enough to where they can't put something in the back of the net.
Yeah, I mean, I think they've got the counterattacking prowess. It's just going to be whether or not they can be as ruthless. I think. But if you look at the other game that they would be supplying that side of the semifinal is Croatia and Brazil, and I mean, I think that if Brazil win that, the Argentina-Brazil game can go either way, and I think that's what we're all hoping for. But I just don't see Croatia being able to go another 120 minutes into penalties with Brazil again. But that's like their only way. I feel like that's like all they can do. They just don't score enough.
Right.
By the way, totally nailed it. Totally nailed it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You knew this was coming.
Yeah, no. But yeah, I think where Croatia is really good, Brazil can match them. And I think everywhere else, Brazil is better. And I think it just, I think it's like a 3-1. I really do. Brazil looked ruthless.
Yeah.
The other day, they looked ruthless.
Ruthless. Yeah. They look like they were having fun, which is what scares me.
Oh yeah.
Like,
What's wild about it is South Korea. I mean, I didn't think South Korea were like bad or like didn't offer energy. I mean, did they really just get blasted like that, you think?
Yeah.
I think it's out skill.
Yeah, I'm gonna for just for energy. I for some reason I have a feeling that Croatia is gonna be up for it. I think
Right.
the complaining about and that now the Croatia didn't do it, but the complaining and the showboating, even though I don't consider it showboating because it's Brazil, but it to frame it as it like it was showboating and all that stuff. I think Croatia, kind of takes that personal and say, hey, you're not going to do that to us. Now, in my heart, and I rarely pick with emotion, I would like to see Brazil win, but I wouldn't be shocked if Croatia wins this game. And the only reason it's in my mind is because Brazil, when they were like scary form, I also remember in that scary form they got their heads knocked in by Germany on the way there, and I think it makes them vulnerable because they do get a little full of themselves, and on the back end specifically defending, they're a little old, and so uh, something about this game is like oh, I'm gonna give Croatia a fighter's chance, but I
If
do
it's
think
0-0 in the 70th, and Brazil gets frustrated.
That's true.
but
But it's
do they?
also very possible that Brazil's up 2-0 in the 35th too.
But does the Croatian coach pull out Luka and their players? Like I don't know what the hell that was.
I mean,
But
yeah, like it worked, I guess.
I don't know. I'm not gonna give him credit for that because
Maybe they
those.
lulled Japan into a false sense of security.
Yeah, I'm not giving them credit for
Their
that one.
starters in the shootout, and then they laid an egg in the shootout.
Yeah.
What? I mean, I know. Okay, Spain said they practiced 1,000 PKs. I'm sure the Japan squad practiced some PKs at some point.
Had to
It
have.
didn't look like it.
That was terrible.
Yeah, I mean, what do you even say? Those were some of the worst pins I think I've ever seen.
They all looked scared to take them, right?
Mm-hmm.
They literally it was funny. The keeper could have guessed the wrong way, got up and went the other way, and still saved them. They were so bad.
Yeah.
They were so bad.
So bad.
And I was saying to Jake earlier, I was like, you can see in a walk up if the guy's gonna make it or not. You can see it. And every one of them looked like they wanted to be somewhere else. Every one of them was like, I don't know if I want to do this. I'm like, man, they're about to lose, man.
Yeah.
100%.
I think Patrick was saying it. You can practice however many times you want, but you can't simulate that moment.
Nope.
The World Cup knockout stage. This is like your whole career comes down. Your whole life of dreaming and anticipating and working, and then you fluff it so bad. Like it's the worst kick of your career. Like
Right.
oh no.
And it went out with a whimper. I mean, again, we talked about this. I'm skying mine, man. I'm not hitting a pedestrian one. Yeah, I'm like, if
That's
I'm gonna
what I
go out, I'm embarrassing myself.
Sergio Ramos it.
Oh,
Yes.
well,
I'm hitting somebody in the stands, man.
it's kind of like what we were talking about on the last podcast about killers. You know, having that killer mindset, and you got to have that when you go to take a PK. I mean, you know, you're not stopping this. You know, and you know, we'll use Eden Hazard as a result. Like, he didn't have the most fancy PK run up, anything of that nature, but he was good because he knew he was going to score.
Yeah, I think he's still in the 90s throughout his career.
Yeah.
My guy was Mario Balotelli. You knew when he walked up, they were going in. Every time he was like, they're going in. And he hits them hard every time.
David Luiz for Chelsea and for Brazil. Like that, he just smashes it.
Who's your PK taker of everybody in the tournament?
For the teams remaining?
Everybody that's left, yeah.
Let's see.
Is it not Harry Kane?
I would say Mbappe or Giroud.
Have we seen him? I'm not sure I've seen Mbappe take a pin.
He's so arrogant.
Give me Neymar.
I don't know. Neymar does too much for me.
Neymar, man, too much.
He does too much for me.
Of course he does too much. That's he's Brazilian.
My initial gut jumped to there, sadly, because I want England to come out ahead in this matchup. It was Olivier Giroud. If I'm putting somebody on the spot, trusted, tried, and true.
As far as the pressure goes, yeah.
Right. No, it's in the vein.
In that as well, because I mean, what pressure?
Right.
What pressure is that man feeling? He stops the ball in the box, has a look around, takes a sip of tea. Oh, you're in position. Everybody's in position. Upper 90. Yeah, just rip. Oh, everybody's good. Yeah, I'm gonna have a little pause. We're gonna look around, take a nice goal. I mean, composure. He's got it in bags. You know,
it amazes me how bad Messi's been lately on PKs.
Yeah, he did miss one in the. Well, but that was Szczesny though, right? I mean, Szczesny, goalkeeper.
Yeah.
It still wasn't a good pen though.
It wasn't a good pen though.
It wasn't a good one though.
Yeah, that's fair. Speaking of good pins though, speaking of ice in the veins, how about my man Hakimi with the Panenka to win the man? That's some cold, and then the little penguin dance. That's some cold-blooded stuff right there, man. I was jacked. I was excited about that. I mean, and it must be said, I loved your post, Lewis. Spain were taking penalty lessons from Japan.
That was awful, man.
It was bad news.
You know the funny thing is, the other thing is when they panned to Enrique before they started, and he had no confidence. I'm like, man, they're about to lose, man. Like, nobody had confidence. Yeah, nobody had confidence.
So what do y'all think Spain's problem was in that game?
They couldn't finish. They couldn't finish. They were getting shots.
From the initial, I would say like 30, I felt like Spain really played down. They felt like they were about to just have an easy weekend. Just, all right, another day in Qatar. And I don't think they took it serious. And then once it got to that 30, 45 after halftime break, and you could see the game really becoming kind of gridlocked because, while I think both the scoreline should not have shown 0-0. Like, I think both of them had opportunities that were just absolutely tarnished and thrown away, especially late in the game for Morocco. They could have had a 2-0 easy.
Put your name, that one guy that got through, man, put your name in lights, dude.
Right.
Don't roll the ball right at the goalie.
Right at it.
On that breakaway. And it was a nice move to get that break,
yeah,
too.
It was.
Couldn't believe it.
So I feel like Spain really, and it's classic. Me and Jake talk about this during the Prem in the season. It's classic Chelsea. They played down. They played 100% down and got handed to them because of it. Because you cannot do that. These are all, even if it's from Morocco, they're all professionals. They will punish you, and you don't want to go to PKs because then it's a flip of a coin. So
So do you think that was a fault of their youth? Because
I think so. I think it was.
100% yes.
I think you definitely give credit to Morocco in their tactics because their defensive block was not. It wasn't. I wouldn't say it was classic Mourinho where it's just like sit back, soak, soak, soak. I thought that their counters were well timed as far as win and the time in between. They were high pressing and then kind of sitting back. And I thought that they were not afraid to send bodies forward in those counters. And like we were saying, I think it could have resulted in winning in normal time. But I don't think they're too mad about it, about the result.
No,
oh
absolutely.
no,
I didn't like they won the cup, man.
yeah, it felt like it meant something more, and I think that also played a role in it. And the thing that and I was telling you all this before we got on here. Spain just played slow. Like there was no rhythm. It was just kind of, I know Enrique comes from the Pep tiki-taka and all that, but it was nothing like it. It was just slow and just didn't have the rhythm to really stretch that Morocco back line.
And playing, I think playing Busquets, man, playing Rodri at center half instead of playing him in holding was huge because he would have taken a thunderbolt out there. They weren't even taking shots; they were holding the ball, and you can't sit in the box and get the perfect shot, man. Put the shit in the goal, like put it in.
Passes over 800 passes.
You know
Huge.
what's you know what's all the legacy pick? Where's Sergio Ramos?
Right.
Where's the legacy pick?
Yeah. Well, I think it was crazy that Nico Williams comes on and they look like a totally different team, but it was too late at that point.
Yeah, he's the only one wanting to like make that risky move. That really looking forward. It was a lot of side to side, I thought.
Enrique is gone, so it's all good. Even though I guess I can throw my shade out there because hopefully the rumors are wrong, but they're looking at Roberto Martinez to replace him. Which, if they do that, he will be the one to waste 2 golden generations. You go ahead, my friend. Please hire.
Oh man,
you let Barcelona refine Fati and surround that, and then put those surrounding players with him like Asensio. Like, bro, Spain's gonna be dangerous.
Not if they get Martinez
at all.
That was true. They would win in spite of him, and even then, he probably still wouldn't have them winning.
Nope.
Well, who's scoring? Like, moving forward for Spain, they got to find a goal scorer. Like, Danny Olmo just wasn't cut.
Be that for them. I really do. I think he's young. Barcelona's got a hold of him. He's got. I think he's got the development behind him to become the goal scorer for that spot, and then eventually, if things keep playing for him, Barcelona.
Isn't it weird for Spain though? Like, because you got David Villa who was there before, and then you had Torres, but they've never really had like depth at striker, which is so confusing because it's Spain.
Meanwhile, France can have 10
all the strikers.
8 years.
France took up all of that part of the world's allotment of strikers.
I don't get it.
Spain
this is what the U.S. needs to do. They need to find a dual national and just make sure they're French. It will be good.
Get Mbappe to switch to citizenship.
Oh man.
Yeah, there you go.
Speaking of somebody.
By the way, speaking of the U.S., did y'all see that Berhalter's in contract negotiations?
I did see that.
I'm like, oh no. Hopefully it's not much.
Well, do you think he gets a whole other cycle?
I don't think he gets a whole cycle, but I think he gets 2 more years.
What if he wins the Gold Cup?
Well, you saw the Copa. They're playing the Copa America in
2024.
So they do give him, he at least get with the Gold Cup and that. And So they I guess they heard the podcast because we were like they got to play some tougher teams, and I'll be damned if they didn't stick themselves right in there.
They tuning in. Yeah, the U.S. team, y'all tuning in.
Hey, yeah, we're out there. The pod's out there. Thanks for listening, guys.
Yeah.
Nice.
USA men's team. If you're tuning in, you need to drop a like and a follow.
Yeah. Go ahead, comment. Show some love in the comment section down there.
Right.
Oh man. Speaking of somebody who should have came to U.S. instead of Saudi Arabia, Portugal wrecked Switzerland. Just absolutely without them, and I love it. I mean, I couldn't love more of that. And I was trying to making sure I'd get his name right because they said it a million times in the broadcast. Goncalo Ramos come in for Ronaldo, gets the hat trick. Absolute. I mean, and that third goal was just just a little dink, just a little FIFA dink right over. Oh, that was great. I enjoyed that. I must say, I hate Portugal so much, but I enjoyed that guy coming in.
You know what's funny about Portugal is that they played better without Ronaldo, which is, I mean, they're a good team and it's a good setup. But it's weird because after every game, it's some goofy controversy that comes up. And it just makes you question, are they going to be able to overcome this every week? Because like recently, there was today, it was a story that Cancelo was having a problem with the national team manager because he didn't play in the or he even didn't get to start. He didn't play. I can't remember in the last game, and so Diaz and Silva were talking to him to try to get his spirits up. And I mean, City fans got on him. They're like, "Hey, man, you've played like shite quite a few times, man." And so it's enough to drop you. You can't make mistakes like that in the World Cup, my friend. And so he's like, well, the manager doesn't like me or whatever. Why are you saying these things publicly? Like, I just don't get it. It's the damn World Cup. It's almost over. Be quiet.
Yeah, you got 11 days.
I mean, look who he's learning from, though.
Yeah.
Which is why I'm concerned because there are goofy controversies coming up.
There was a story, I read it earlier. I don't know where I read it, but that Ronaldo almost walked out of the dressing room when he found out that he was not starting.
I heard that too. See, I'm like, it's too much stupid stuff going on.
My favorite bit is the coach is like, none of that's true. None of that is true. There's no controversy. The article I read was gold. You could hear the BS just pouring out of this guy's mouth. We're a tight unit. We're a real well knit squad. All the guys work really hard for each other because we're a team. Unity is all important. No, guy. No, nobody believes you.
But he's getting the selection right.
Well,
he's getting the selection right though.
But like I texted you when we saw the lineup, that Portugal team flew. So maybe there is something to that.
You did say that right before the game. I texted him. I said Ronaldo benched, and he's like, "Oh, they're gonna smash." Immediately comes back. Oh, they're gonna win big. Like, okay.
I'm pretty sure they were smashed. I mean, it's Switzerland. They did not have any business going up against Portugal right now.
No, they don't.
And their worst.
I'm so glad they're gone. Oh, God, I can't stand
they had their worst game of the tournament.
Well, would you have rather them or Denmark? I mean,
I guess Switzerland. There's a chance for at least a team goal or two.
Look at the CSU men's team out there.
Does Portugal walk over Morocco?
Not even close.
I think.
No way.
Here's the thing, though. I think they will.
Do you think so?
You think?
I think they're gonna dog walk Morocco. Like they don't deserve to be there.
Really?
Yes.
Hey, man.
Yes.
Switzerland aren't going to come out, or Switzerland didn't come out looking to just defend and counter. They tried to play their game and they got blasted. Morocco doesn't do that.
But here's the thing, okay? Usually every World Cup, we have that one team that makes that run to the semifinals that shouldn't, and it feels like this Morocco team's that team.
Yeah.
Them or Croatia.
Yeah.
I think Croatia's the team though.
You think Croatia's? So you think they beat Brazil?
Something about that game don't sit right.
I'm telling you, you're with me,
Coach,
bro.
Something about the game don't sit right.
Coach has lost the plot. I'm telling you.
It's something about that game doesn't sit right.
How do you take off?
I-
How do you take off your 3 best players 4 minutes
That's what
before
feeling
penalty
it.
shootout?
I'm feeling
that's-
the Croatia
and it
upset, though.
works.
Like,
balls of steel. You
And it
gotta
works
have balls of
somehow.
steel to do. Exactly.
my man proved to the world. He said, "I don't need He's like, "I don't need them. I don't need them to make PK."
Well, but the funny thing is, if you looked at the sideline when they were taking the pens, none of those guys looked worried either.
Nope.
None of them looked worried.
Yeah, because the first penalty that Japan took looked like my grandmother took it.
That's while that's true. I mean, you would think that Japan would have went in with confidence, but none of those guys on the side looked worried about it at all. And so, I mean, is Brazil gonna beat them? I think probably so. But if Croatia wins that game, I won't be shocked. Now Portugal, I'm inclined to agree that they probably will smash Morocco. I don't think they will, but I'm inclined. It wouldn't shock me to see them slap them.
I mean, I could see it. But I
Oh,
don't think it happens. But I can see how
I'm
you could
calling
see
it. It's
that
gonna-
happening.
Here's
They're gonna-
how it would happen for me. If Portugal score quickly
Yeah.
and Morocco can't just sit back, then they'll get shredded. But if it's 0-0 in the 75th minute and Portugal are just diving all over the place because that's what they do. They get frustrated and start flopping because the wind's blowing a little bit.
0-0, 75th minute. Ronaldo comes on, scores in the 88th.
No.
That's why I think Portugal wins that game. I think my prediction would be Portugal will win this one and lose the next one.
Yeah, well, no one's beaten France.
Well,
So.
nobody's beating
That-
France.
But
Only
that's
teams
what
are
I'm
losing the
saying.
next
No,
game.
you're not. No, you're
We're
not.
beating France, bro.
I don't know, man. I don't see that one. I don't see
It's
that one.
coming.
It's not coming home. It's not
It's
coming.
not coming home.
No.
Football's coming home.
We said this in the other one. If England beats France, they're winning the whole damn thing.
Yeah.
Exactly.
If they beat France,
England
they're
beats-
winning it all.
If England beats France, it doesn't matter. Morocco, Portugal, they're getting smashed. Yeah. England will win 5-0 against either of them if they beat France.
Yes. Yes.
Kyle Walker will be like standing so tall after talking all that trash. Oh my God. And I honestly think though that if they're gonna beat France, that's if he wins that battle, if he can win that battle, that's like I feel like that's your only approach. I feel like that's
They
your
only
only
need-
Right. He knows it's going to be on. I mean, he's the only one on the field remotely quick enough, I would say, for
Yeah.
England and try to keep up with Kylian Mbappe.
Well, he's the only one. Like he knows he only has to have one good game and it's the next one.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's it. He only needs one.
It's cruise control after that. It's all downhill after you beat France.
So you see Argentina or Brazil in the final. But like I said, I think Croatia takes Brazil. I think Brazil's flying high. They're going to come out and underestimate how much of a grind Croatia truly presents it to themselves. And they're going to mess around. I almost just dropped one. They're going to mess around and they're going to get beat. And it's going to be bittersweet for them because they're just flying too high. I just don't see it.
Croatia, it's not 4 years ago. It's not 4 years ago. Brozovic and Modric, I mean, they got hooked because of how much they slowed down. You could see, they got hooked because he's like they're gonna die on the field if we don't.
Going to have.
But that makes
Eric out here. Yeah, I got you.
That makes the manager look like he knows what he's doing. So I think that's enough. I think that's enough.
I'm telling you.
I think they might get him, man.
You got Vinicius over
I
here
think
fleet contract during the middle of the World Cup, and like they're just not focused, man. Croatia's got laser beams, man.
You want to talk about not focused? There were pictures of the Netherlands out deep sea fishing and whatnot.
On a yacht, yeah.
On the yacht. Wait, what?
Yeah.
no. I mean, the thing about Brazil is I really think that say Croatia plays above their heads, and they get into the 120th minute. That's where Brazil's going to break you down. I mean, that depth. You see the difference between Croatia and the midfield. It's a tie. I mean, maybe even Croatia is a step higher, but I just don't know where else Croatia can match Brazil in talent.
I'm gonna disagree on the last part. I think the moment gets to Brazil there because I think they'll be like, they shouldn't be with us, I think that'll frustrate them.
They're gonna Morocco it. They're going to do the same thing we just saw.
But if this one goes to penalties though, and my man takes out Modric and Perisic comes off.
Now, if it goes to penalties, I'm all with Brazil. Brazil wins that on penalties.
5 pins, like
Well, there's Allison. Allison's in the goal though, man.
He is the entire
whole goal. Like
he covers the whole thing.
Ask Chelsea how well PKs against Allison goes.
I know, right?
Right.
Like that's like. I saw it was so funny. I mean, this isn't funny, but it is funny. When the ladies were refereeing, when it was an all ladies refereeing team,
the all three,
and anytime the ref went up, the center ref went up to any of them, she was like so much shorter than all of them. Like I was like, wow, I know Van Disney is not that tall. Holy,
he's like 6'5", right?
Yeah, he's like 6'4", 6'5".
He's pretty big.
Yeah,
he's pretty damn big.
He's big, but she looked like she was 3 feet tall. Like, I mean, I feel like you got to be a really strong woman to be like having to do this, and they're all screaming at you, and they hate you on principle. The referee.
Well, I'm gonna be honest. That's like most women, though. Women can't wait to be like, hey, your height means nothing.
Yeah.
So
that's fair.
The power of giving someone a yellow card is the last thing.
Well, the red one, I think giving a red will be more fulfilling.
No.
Got to do it with gusto.
Speaking about the refs, I thought that the ladies had a great game. It was one of those. We didn't have to say anything about them. I don't even remember a single thing about it, and that's the best thing you can say.
Mm-hmm.
The refereeing team, I thought they did really well. But what do you think it's going to take, X, for England to beat France?
I know we hinted at it last week, but I truly think it is you have to turn, even if we're down. I'm talking about you have to play the offensive tactics here. You have to be willing to say, we know Kane. I am betting that Kane is better than Mbappe on today. I am betting that Saka and Foden are better wingers today than Dembele, and I am betting that this is going to go our way today. It might not be, who's better than who, and we can get into all of that, but I think England has to be willing to bet on themselves and not take this step back and allow France to lie in the second and third part of their field, because if they do that, if they give up that possession there's just too much quality. If you allow them too much possession in your final third, Olivier Giroud is going to find a way to score, just like Harry Kane will. That's why you have to be willing to make this a ping pong game. You want the possession to be 51-49. You want it to be 55, 45, or I guess we have the contested now because of your boy coming up with new stuff right before the Cup. But anyway, I think that England has to be willing to bet on the offensive prowess that they brought to this thing. And we have Sterling back on the bench. I don't think he starts. I do think he will come in and see playing time on the field, but I do not think with his headspace that he'll hit the starting lineup.
Is Sterling back?
Yeah, he's back. He's back.
My concern is, does Southgate get the lineup right? Because I think that's going to really matter. And
what is Southgate concerned with?
I think he's washes and repeats. I think he goes Foden, Saka, Kane. I think he goes Henderson, Bellingham, and Rice. And then I think he keeps that back line with Walker all the way through.
Well, I hope he keeps the consistency there, because my concern is I think he pull, and I'm a City fan, but I think he pulls a Pep and he overthinks it. I think he overthinks it, and if he does,
What do you think he does then to overthink it?
I think he puts Sterling in. I really think he plays Sterling, which would be dumb, but I think he puts him in because I think strategically he will want him. I think he might play him early, maybe even start him because I think he wants to match that speed. I just have that feeling about him. He's done it enough times where I feel like he's going to.
What about Calvin Phillips instead of Henderson?
No way.
No, you don't think so?
I think the unsung or kind of not being talked about part of France's success, because Mbappe and Giroud broke the record and Mbappe is having such a crazy tournament, is that Antoine Griezmann's contribution to this run has been amazing. It's been incredible and invaluable. He's playing more defense than I think he's ever played in his career. He's coming back farther to get the ball, and he's absolutely controlling these matches. So I think that you'll never see Calvin Phillips over Henderson in this one. I think that Henderson and Rice are going to be tasked with not letting him have the ball.
Right. No, I was thinking about the Griezmann side of things, and if he would try to put a little bit more speed compared to Henderson in the midfield.
I truly think that this game weighs, in the realm of things and the scope of things and how it's all played out in the tournament thus far. I think France has more to lose here.
Oh, they do.
Of course, they're the holders.
Right. But even still, with the team and the lineup that they're coming with, the English squad, we'll probably won't have Kane, but the rest of that squad's, other than maybe Maguire, they're fairly young. You're gonna have you're gonna have that midfield. Hendo's probably gone. He's played 100 years over at Liverpool.
Yeah, he won't be in another one.
He won't. But anyway, I have the players. I think France has, like I said, just more to lose. There's no Varane won't make it. Lloris probably won't make it. Giroud won't make it. You keep Koundé, Dembele, and Mbappe, but I think France, because of the tournament they're having, I think that they just have a little bit more to lose, which gives England kind of that edge to where there's such a rivalry and hatred here that it's bet. I want them to come out and have that attitude. All right, bet you think you're better than us. We finally get to see you in the tournament instead of getting knocked out by Italy or someone freaking stupid.
Is there an argument for Phillips over Rice?
You have to keep Rice in there.
You have to keep Rice.
No, he's been great.
Yeah.
He's been great.
I agree. I just throwing it out there.
I think I don't think Rice is slow though.
So okay, all right. I'll throw one at y'all. So we talk about the attacking, but who's got the better back line?
England. Luke Shaw has.
It'll be Varane.
Yeah, Shaw.
Varane. So
I'm slow to it, but I agree it is England because Luke Shaw in international games he steps up, man.
He stepped up the tournament.
I mean, Maguire hasn't been united self either. He wasn't great. I thought Stones and Maguire weren't great against Senegal, and if they make some of the mistakes they did versus Senegal, they'll get wrecked in transition. But in the group stage, I thought Maguire actually showed up.
How much do you, as an England fan, and I guess I'll ask this to Patrick, and kind of, how much would you rather see, even in this game, more so than anything that they've played in the tournament so far, how much would you rather see a Reece James other than a Luke Shaw on that side to hold down?
Oh, seriously. That would be a totally different game at that point.
Walker playing across from each other on that. Pairing there, I think can hold. I think that truly would then show bring Griezmann, bring Dembele, bring Mbappe. We can match you pace to pace.
Right.
Who's more casual, Mbappe or James?
Oh, they're both too cool for school, man. So it doesn't happen. Yeah, they're gonna be sitting there making, playing damn rock paper scissors on the sideline or something together. Oh, let's make the run, man.
No, I kind of go back to, the stars are gonna show up, and of course you got Kane for England, he finally got on the score sheet,
Yeah.
and you've got Mbappe out here trying to be
Look, he's LeBron James.
yeah, exactly.
He's destroying everyone.
Soccer right now. Yeah.
So I mean, you can count on him putting in a performance, and I mean, like Jake said, it really comes down to Griezmann. If he's able to move and create, and I think that's where England struggles a little bit. But I also think we're getting the good side of Iran so far, but I mean, I kind of lean towards England having the better back line. I think I would take Lloris over Pickford though in goal.
Oh man.
I know. It hurts. It hurts, man.
Tottenham scum could be the best keeper in the world. He can. I don't wish bad things on him. I just want to say I don't hope his bus gets where it's going. Let's just put it like that.
I think you hate Tottenham more than Jake for Arsenal.
Bro, Tottenham, you don't
Hey,
understand the
don't
dynasty we
worry.
could have right now if it wasn't for Tottenham blocking some of those bots. We
I
wanted
know.
Tottenham.
Luca would have been a
We wanted Ericsson. Tottenham told us no. Bale got shipped off. We would have been in before they did.
Every time.
I'm just saying. I think that if I'm looking at both keepers, I would rather have Lloris than Pickford, but I think I would like right now England's back line more than France. I think there's a little bit there, but I also think the front line for France is better than England's.
I do,
even though Kane's leading the front.
To Jake's point, though, I do think, and it's funny because I don't know if you I can't remember if we were texting about it or it was in the last podcast. The way France has lined up this lineup with Griezmann right behind Giroud and in between Dembele and Mbappe is so hidden for him. He can play shadow. He can play, I'm not here. Don't focus on me. And it's really played well for them in getting him, like you said, him lying deeper, making a deep playmaker, getting the ball, kicking it out, being that kind of glue for the squad. But no one's looking for him. No one's being like, hey, where's Griezmann?
Do you just tell Hendo to stay in his pocket? The whole game?
I think Rice has to make a conscious effort to, because I think what's ends up going to happen is if they, I don't think France is going to change anything, and I really don't think England shouldn't. To Lewis's point, England should not change anything coming into this. If they line up the same, I think Bellingham and Hendo are going to have such a problem trying to break up the in between, trying to feed Dembele and Mbappe out on the wings, trying to cut out those passing lanes, trying to apply that pressure there to win the midfield ball. And I think Rice has to stay in Griezmann's pocket and not allow him to come back and receive the ball and hold up that play to kick it out as much. I think we have a better midfield too. That's the only reason why I think England can really win this thing. I think we have a better midfield, and I think we have a better defense.
This is the one I kind of want to go to penalties. I'm not going. I want him to score in the game. I want a 1-1 or 2-2, but I want him to go to pens. I want him to go to pens. I want this one to go to pens.
But
y'all broke the curse. The curse was broken last time versus Colombia.
Yeah, it's true.
I said it last time too, and it can get out of hand for England really fast because if France scores fast and England can't play this tit for tat type of game, I think it's really supposed to be. If France gets on this roll and gets that momentum, and Mbappe hits 2, Giroud hits 1, London will burn. This is not a game. The Brits will literally burn their own island into the ground because they lost to France. Could you imagine if France 7-1 England?
They're gonna blame Kane. They're coming for the Tottenham Stadium.
Poor Kane. Kane will be at fault all the time.
All the time.
All the time. He might go to Spain at that point.
No, at that point I'd be glad Mount's on the bench because then I could be like, hey, you should have played my boy. It might not have went that way.
I hope this one goes to pens. That's my evil desire.
I think it's safest if it goes to pens because then either city might not burn.
I mean, if
I
it goes
think
to
Paris
pins,
would burn too. Like you 2-0, 3-0 this France squad. Like, oh, Paris would burn.
what if it goes to pins and Pickford
Threesby Pickford.
wins the penalties?
Yo, I'll see it
Lloris
right
misses, Pickford scores.
if Jordan Pickford hits the winning PK for England, I will personally embroider a for the badge whatever and send it to him.
Yeah, we're making a for the badge man of the match,
every week.
and we're gonna send it to Jordan
Chelsea,
Pickford.
bring that man in and start him over Kepa every day of the week if he does that. Like Frankie, help us out. You're sending us the keeper. Sorry about you, bud.
You see Pickford on a cell phone at the end of the game, and it's Todd Bowley calling him up.
Hey, bud.
Name your price.
Yeah.
Yo,
Yeah.
that would be
Good.
Jake. Oh my God, that would be so epic.
I want to see the corner kick goal. I want to see Pickford come up for the corner kick goal
Yeah.
in the
Those
120th.
For the tie to send it to PKs, and then he Drogba's it. He Drogba's
it.
He hits the late header, then he hits the last PK for them to take the trophy.
Well, for him to Drogba it though, or he's gonna have to commit a penalty too.
Oh yeah, he's gonna have to get one and block it. Yo, that would be so.
How are we cheering for the goalkeeper to be the man, the man of all the action in this
We
game?
can't cheer
We're
for
the
why not?
sickos of soccer.
why
That's
not?
what we are.
Because why not?
It's a
England's
FIFA
whole
match
problem.
where
No one
you
can cheer for
accidentally tried to dribble everybody with the goalkeeper.
Oh,
Oh
It'd be
man,
beautiful. It'd be beautiful.
that would be poetic. Like
Oh,
you can't write that any better.
yeah, I don't know. All right, well, I say we go ahead. We'll do some official predictions. What do you think, X? What do you think the actual score is going to be?
2-1 to England.
2-1 England in overtime or in regular time?
2-1 to England. I think England goes up quick. France equalizes. England gets a nudge from like Saka, and I really don't want him to be the hero, but he's having a great tournament, so I'm on board. I think Saka gets in one real nice and cheeky, and they just grind it out, Mal style, pack the defense, pour it on if you want.
If England beat France, Declan Rice could score the goal. You don't give a you don't care.
Hugo Lloris could score the goal, and I'd be
Hugo Lloris' own goal.
own goal.
That would be beautiful. I would love that.
I do think it's going to go 2-1. I want to say 2-1 England in regular time.
What do you think, Patrick?
3-2 France. Mbappe with 2.
Giroud with the
Giroud
winner.
with 1. Giroud gets the winner.
I
And the best part about it will be that the Chelsea and Arsenal fans in England are conflicted because they love him so much, but yet he just tore their hearts out completely.
England.
I wouldn't be mad at that.
I say 3-1 France. All France.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
I got 4-2 France.
I like that one too.
I hope, man. I feel like Griezmann's itching. I feel like he wants to get on the score sheet again. You know. So I definitely think but I think it's France all day.
Okay.
For sure.
I do. The more I think about it, the more I do worry about France's overall midfield. And there was one thing that I brought up in the beginning, just that youth. Chumani has been really good. Oh gosh, who's the other guy?
Rabiot.
Rabiot has been really good. But I think there's some steel in that that English midfield that France hasn't really faced yet, and I think that there can be some issues there, but I just think Mbappe's just that good. I mean, I just think he's just on another level. You know, we talk about Messi, we talk about Ronaldo, mainly Messi now, but I mean, he's on that level, and you just see that confidence when he's playing, and he's like, you're not stopping me. I don't care who you are. And I mean, I
Wins in my
don't know.
Champions League, Gene.
Yeah.
I-
Yeah. He's definitely got it, and he's got it. The difference between Mbappe and his skill set versus Messi or Ronaldo, I would say, Mbappe has one of probably the most. He will always have a phenomenal team behind him.
Mhm.
Always, no matter
On
what. Yeah.
international level, he doesn't have to worry about like Portugal had this big lull for themselves, and as before Ronaldo, they didn't qualify for much, but right now they have a lot of pieces now to support. It doesn't matter if he's there or not; it really doesn't. Now they have all the pieces there to actually put a competitive team on the field. And I think this would be probably a good segue into it, but I do think Fernandez and Wow Felix and Bernardo Silva, like I just Carvalho he's an amazing center defensive mid.
Mhm.
I just they have all the pieces there where they're competitive now. You don't have to have a phenom dragging them by their coattails along through these tournaments. But Messi with Argentina can be kind of said the same way, right? Like 2 tournaments ago, it was just Messi. He had Angel Di Maria. That was the only other best player on that squad. But now they have pieces that they've really developed their players into, and
I mean, I
Messi.
don't know. Argentina should have done better with the likes of Sergio Aguero, Gonzalo Higuain.
Yeah.
When it was Messi, Higuain, Aguero, Di Maria.
Although, like,
I don't know, man. I'm just saying.
But we were talking about locker rooms with Portugal. I mean, that was the issue with those Argentina teams. Like there
Yep.
was so much
so much
tension in the locker room. They never really hit their stride. And we were talking about on the last podcast. This Argentina team plays for Messi. It's his team.
They've even said it in the media. They've even
Yeah.
come out and said some stuff like that. Like DePaul was saying, did an interview where he was talking about like, yeah, we're trying to win it for Messi. We're trying this for Messi. We do this for Messi, Messi. All right, guys. All right.
We get it. We get it.
That's why I give him the GOAT. Like his teammates, he has the love and admiration of the people he plays with. It's not, and that's what Ronaldo has lost over the course of these last 2 years, maybe even a little bit of Juventus on the way out. But before we get into too much Messi, Morocco, Portugal. What's the prediction?
Well, you said it, man, about Ronaldo, Xavier. You texted me, I think you said yesterday or something. He's not handling the fact that it's over.
No.
The greats have to understand when to turn the chip back in, and he can't. He cannot. He is handling this with such
zero grace.
I was about to say, what's the opposite of grace? Like he is just a zero tact and grace about this, and it's so sad because he went all through this 2 years ago to go back to United and try to rebuild it, and it was all about legacy. It was all about this. I'm Ronaldo, and I want to preserve this. I want to bring it back, and I want to restore Old Trafford before I leave. And now it's just digging. He cannot dig his hole fast enough, and that's what sucks so much about this. Like he can't understand that his best role right now is probably being a super sub. He's in the Chicharito era of his career. Come in the 70th.
Man, that is mean.
Oh man! Shout out to Cheech.
No, I agree. And I think like I saw video of him after the match, and he's the first one off the pitch. He's not celebrating with the team, like, and I can understand.
Leao scored the fifth goal or the sixth goal. Did you happen to look at Ronaldo when Leao scored that sixth goal?
I didn't. No.
He turned away in disgust. He turned like everyone's celebrating over here. He turned over this way, like, and threw his arm up.
See, and that's a problem. I mean, and I understand, you get told you're the greatest in the world, and you get told this and that and the other, and you buy into it. And I mean, it was legitimate. And like you said, there comes a time where you're not anymore. And, once you come to grips with that, you can find your role. But I think him going to Saudi Arabia is just a perfect example of it. He's going to go and dominate there, and he's doing it for his ego I mean, of course, he's doing it for the money too, but he's doing it for his
he'll-
ego.
He'll disappear.
I
He
think he's
won't be on TV. Like, we won't be watching him on TV.
I think he's heading to Juve. I don't think he'll go to Saudi.
Well, the funny thing about him is, I mean, and I don't know how it still exists, but the only reason he would have went to the United States. Let's all be honest. He would have came to the US, but he can't come here for whatever legal reasons because
Yeah,
he would have been in the US easily. Because I mean, if everyone is connected to it, he would have went to Miami or LA and would have lived it up. And that's so he has to. So he's kind of, if you see it. It might be the foreshadowing of he's being forced to live a lot of experiences he doesn't want to, and his money can't save him from that. And so the issue,
you can't buy a starting position, right?
Right, and because I mean, we all know because he made in that interview he did with Piers Morgan or whatever. He was like, well, I was close to going to City, and City was like, no, we weren't going to sign you. And but you have to think. He literally had to just take what was there. And this is the Manchester United thing was the first time where he had to accept what was just there because he chose Juve and, and from United, he wouldn't, I don't think he would have gone there if he had a choice to go where he wanted to. And I think he would have gone to the States after this United thing. I think he would have been out. I mean, Zlatan went. Messi is very likely to go to the States as well. And so all the big name guys all go to the States and win. Bale went to the States.
Rooney, Henry.
Think about it. All the names have come to the United States because
that
how you make your brand.
Kaka.
Henry was
the names go on and on, yeah. Absolutely.
And I think he feels he's missing something because he can't go where he wants to go. And so he doesn't want to be the bus rider on this trip. So I just think I wouldn't say he would sabotage it, but I think there's enough going on in that Portugal locker room, like the Argentine one in the past, that I think he causes a problem. And I don't, I mean, I get the GOAT thing. I don't think there's a GOAT in my opinion because there's always a next guy, in my opinion. But I think he's the that meme where you stick the the stick in the spoke of the bike and you fall down and you say, why did you do it? I think he's the stick. I really do. I think he's the stick.
Here's the question. Does that mean Morocco is through to the semifinals?
No.
What's your prediction?
Now, Portugal's too good to lose there. They're going to lose the next one.
2-0.
Scoreline?
2-0 Portugal.
2-0. 2-0.
4-0?
2.
Xavier says 4-0 Portugal.
Oh wow. Okay.
Oh man. My heart wants to say 0-0 to Pins. But yeah.
Too much attacking power for Portugal.
I'm thinking it's 2 or 3-0 Portugal as well. Especially if they leave old boy on the bench.
I think they will again.
They have to. They have to.
I think.
How do you not start the hat trick hero?
I agree with Jake here. I think Leao should get a nod for a start. If anybody is in question,
every time he's on the field, you put him on, he scores 5 minutes later. All three, all 3 games.
Right. So I think Leao. I think that, like Patrick just said, though, there's tons of firepower here, and I think Morocco are just going to be so overwhelmed because I think Morocco is going to get in their own head. As soon as if Portugal scores early, they're going to be like, "Yeah, we don't deserve to be here," and they're just going to get wrecked.
Well, but another thing,
I think they'll come at it and then get wrecked.
But another thing to take into consideration, right? And I think this is really true in sports, and they expended so much emotional energy into that Spain game.
Oh yeah.
And I know that there's been a turnaround, to kind of come down from it, but at this point, we're gonna see more of that talent take over than like, oh, they're playing for the badge, so to speak. And I I mean, I like this Morocco team. They're fun to watch, even though they do play very defensive at times. But Ziyech, he's finally playing like the player that I thought he would be at Chelsea. Hakimi's playing well. I just I don't know. I think that they're going to be a little bit flat too. And I know that sounds crazy going into a quarterfinal, but I really do think that they expended a lot for that Spain game.
I think the break didn't do them a service. I think if the games were like the 2 days immediately after, I would have given them a better chance because the emotions would have been high and it would have just been just off of raw energy. But I think because they've gotten these 2 days and now they've come back down, it gives you space to get in your own head. And so I think if the games were yesterday and today, and they would have played today, I think they had a chance to win. But because you've given Portugal time to rest and get their tactics together and watch film, I think they win easily.
I think there's a little bit to be said about now that we're in a deeper stage of the tournament. Like you just said, there's been time to get tactics together. And so that's going to play a bigger role than it did in maybe the first or second game.
Which is why Croatia is dangerous.
I love segues.
Hey, I was about to say segues are weird.
Yeah. I hear you, man, and the heart, because I've been a Croatia fan ever since 1998 when Davor Suker scored against France in the semifinal. Right before the halftime, and they did the interview talking about how that's the best time to score. And when I did the videos for the channel, I realized that Croatia only had gained independence. Like they're only as old as I am since 1991, and they're perennials, man. They're semifinals in 98, finalists last year. They always seem to be in the quarterfinal. Do y'all remember the 2000? I'm sure you remember the Euros in 2008 when, or it might have been the 2012 Euros when Turkey were blessed by Allah and they played Croatia in one of the most incredible games I've ever seen. It was Rustu. Do you remember the goalkeeper Rustu for Turkey? Man, it was in the 90th minute, like 93rd minute. Croatia winning 2-1. And I remember this because there was a knock at my door and the game was like super intense. And Turkey were like really pressing and it was the pizza guy at the door. And I opened the door and Rustu launches it down the field and Turkey scored to tie it up with the last kick of the ball. Wow. And I'm freaking out, like screaming, and the pizza guy's like, what? And then in overtime, the same thing happens. Croatia scores in like the 119th. And Turkey scored in like the 122nd to send it to penalties. It was like the craziest game ever. And I'm like, from then on, I was like, man, Croatia always bring the heat in the tournaments, in the big tournaments. So it's no surprise that they've gotten here. And my heart really, really wants to see them continue. I don't think they got it, man. I think this might be just another 3-0 Brazil. I don't think Croatia have any comeback power at all. I think, especially if Brazil score 1-2 in the first half, it could get ugly. It could be bad. I think Brazil's just got it, man. As much as I hate to say it, I think they've just got it too much.
1-1, Croatia to PKs and wins it.
Oh my goodness. Good grief. That's not what I see coming at all, but I wouldn't hate it.
The storybook.
I wouldn't hate that at all.
I mean, I did not bet on Croatia a single game past knockout in the last cup. And they just kept proving me wrong. So you know what? I'm going with them. Croatia to Brazil, 1-1.
Penalties.
Let's go to the goalies. That's mine. That's mine for the Croatia-Brazil for sure.
I'm going to go 3-1. I'm going to go 3-1 Brazil. I just I think if this was Croatia 2018, yeah, I think they find a way to win. But I don't think they have it in them.
I got a 2-1 Croatia. I'm
No, my God.
In regulation.
gonna just go ahead
No.
and say
To the 120th, it's got to be.
it'll be at the death, but I'm gonna go Croatia.
Luka Modric in the 97th minute because there's an eternity stoppage time.
Puts it up or 90.
I think he scores the first goal. Actually,
Think
if I
so?
was prop betting, now I think he scores the first one.
Old Kramaric gets the winner, maybe. No, we'll throw the Chelsea fans a bone, and Kovacic comes out of nowhere.
He actually hits a goal.
Nowhere. He hits the cross and it goes in off the bar.
That would be the perfect Kovacic goal.
Perfect Kovacic goal, actually.
I got a 2-1, but with the Croat defense facing the firing squad. Like just Brazil is just shooting and shooting and shooting.
Barcelona, Chelsea, 2012. Yeah, we've been there. Just even it in.
Oh man. Well, only one left. I don't know. I think Messi's got it. I think Messi's
1-0 to Argentina is mine here.
1-0.
I do. I'm very weary to bet against this Netherlands defense.
I got a 2-1 because I think Netherlands has a goal in them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking 2-1 Argentina.
I think that Argentina don't like the reason that Netherlands looked like they were defending so well against US is because we were just bombing balls into the guy that's 6'5". Not to mention Ake is not short either, so we were trying, Argentina don't do that.
Okay, so does Van Gaal keep Blint out on the right, or does he switch it up?
No,
I think he's
played every minute of the tournament. He's not going to sit him now.
He leaves him, and that'll be the downfall.
I think it's 3-1 Argentina. I think Argentina are going to turn it on. They've grown into the tournament. I think they're really going to turn it on in this one, and I think they'll get hit on the break. But the first time that happens, I think they'll figure it out, and I think that DePaul will probably be big. He had one game that was really, really bad, but I thought he was good against Australia, and so I think that in my opinion, the center defensive midfielder, and even if you use two of them, Argentina tend to have two guys behind Messi and kind of like a pivot. So I think those guys will be important to stop up the counter, but I think they'll do it well, and I think Argentina will win 3-1.
You know what? I'm actually going to change mine. I think this goes beyond regulation, so I will keep Argentina winning it. But I want to say it's going to go. I think it'll go to a deeper game than just the 90.
You like Argentina in penalties?
I don't want to say it's going to go all the way to PKs because I think that's where I think the magic truly can happen with that Messi moment or the Argentina moment. That's what I think where they're gonna grind out. This game is going to be a back and forth growler, and then Argentina is just going to just put something together because it's supposed to be that way.
Yeah.
I hope here's what will really change my mind, and it really sucks that we don't have the lineup for the game, this soon, which I understand. I truly would, if it were me, I would truly line up. I would start DeLitt. I would start DeLitt and pull a back four, Timber, DeLitt, Van Dijk, and Nake.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
I would defensively want to match this Argentina squad because I believe in Depay and Gakpo. I think De Jong can shore up a midfield with Klaassen. Dumfries.
Fine if it goes to hits, though.
Again, Dumfries looked like he had some talent, but again, that was more so.
U.S. made him look like he had talent.
Made him look world class. What are you talking about?
World class is my boy Patrick likes to say that.
I'm telling you, he looks like. I mean, I was looking at Chelsea news. It's like Chelsea's in on Denzel Dumfries. I'm like, why? We just no. Don't.
I think that if this one goes to pins, I think Netherlands. I think
Oh, yeah.
they'll be fine.
They would
I
win.
Yeah.
put Van Dyke
Yeah.
in goal, bro. Just let him. Just
Well, they have a 6'8" goalkeeper.
Yeah, I mean, I think they'll
Tim
be
Krul,
just
though. Not Tim Krul in there.
so yeah. So what's yours, Patrick? Sorry.
I thought 2-1. My thing is how does Bengal approach play Messi? And I think that's the ultimate thing for the Netherlands. And my thing is when you got somebody like Messi who goes and scores, it creates this extra like pressure on the defense to not let it happen again, and that's when you get these mistakes.
Yep.
And I think that's where you need Van Dijk to play at the level he was 2 years ago, or they'll give up at least one more, because there's always going to be Messi magic at some point, whether it's a free kick, whether it's playing a quick 1-2 in the box or whatever it might be. And that's my concern, for Netherlands. But I do think that if Bengal sets them up pretty defensively, like you said, extra defensive than against the US, I do think that counter is hard to stop. And I worry about the back line for Argentina, and Gakpo, Depay. I mean, they bomb it. But I just think in the end, Messi's just too much.
I think they'll have to bring something different because where USA couldn't quite figure out what to do, Messi will see it immediately. Messi will immediately how to break down their tactics. So I think it's going to be a bit more fluid, that will, as far as tactically and defensively, than it was versus USA, because they kind of made it tactically look really simple. And Argentina won't. They'll adjust. They'll adjust so quick.
And another thing about Argentina is they're not dependent on Messi to score, though. And I think that's a huge thing, because this is, I think, what's different about this Argentine team is while they may be doing it for Messi, they don't need Messi to do it. And I think that's where the difference is, because they have goals in other places. So I think that's what makes them. I think they win this one, but I do agree. And I was just thinking about all the games. If there was a scenario where every single match went to penalties, I think Argentina would lose in penalties if they played. But then you go, Portugal, I think, would win in penalties.
Right.
I think England lose in penalties.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, for sure.
Here's an interesting tidbit for you, though, and Jake, this probably goes along a little coincide for your World Cup history motif you had going. The Netherlands have lost just one of their 9 meetings with Argentina in all competitions. They've won 4 and drawn 4 with the last loss coming in 1978. So this was like theoretically a big tiebreaker.
Wow.
That's
wow.
Really they didn't have Johan Cruyff in '78, the Dutch, because his family, just like all this crap that's been going on, his family was attacked in Spain, and he didn't go to the World Cup in '78 because of that. Like right before.
Wow.
And that's when they played Argentina. And guess who won the tournament? Argentina.
Oh yeah. If y'all haven't watched that
78.
FIFA Uncovered, that discusses that World Cup. It's fantastic. But no, I think tactics are important at this stage, but I think talent's more important. And that's I mean, unless you just have a team that is just that good, where maybe they're not overly talented, but they just play well together. I think that's where, and mentioning the whole Messi thing, I was thinking back to when he got his cup. It was the Messi show. I mean, that's what it was. It was like Messi had to do everything, and you're right, he doesn't have to do everything in this, and I think that's why they play a little bit better. and it takes some of that pressure off of him, and he can go and create.
I agree.
You know,
I agree, 100%. And it's gonna be a hell of a week, man. I cannot wait.
oh yeah,
Absolutely. I'm pumped. Let's see. The first game tomorrow is Croatia, Brazil.
Yep.
And we'll get to see if all of our hearts are gonna win in that one. And then Argentina, Netherlands is next. Why do they got to make the England France game the last one of the
oh, save the best for last.
Like, come on, man, come on. Anyways,
Well, we talk about Paris and London burning. What happens when Argentina and Brazil are playing to go to the World Cup final?
Man, that's gonna be one.
We'll cross. We'll literally cross that burning bridge when we get to it. It'd be pretty.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's just say we can only hope
We get
That we get that chance.
that we get
I
to
didn't
see
pick Brazil.
that.
Yeah, I'll still take that game. Argentina, Brazil would be beautiful.
Oh,
Oh my gosh.
Hey,
We get France,
personally think that
England
that's what's gonna
in
happen.
quarterfinals, and Argentina, Brazil in semis. Like, come on now.
Yep.
Oof.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, I think that has been an excellent episode. We'll go ahead and cut it there. Again, I'm Jake, it's Lewis, Patrick, and my man X. This has been the For the Badge podcast. Make sure to hit the like button. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel and hit the bell. Get all those notifications for new videos. We will have just a couple more as the tournament is winding down. Again, thanks for listening. Y'all have a great night.